Hello everyone, this is Category 2, Ascending and Descending, Adding and Subtracting with Integers. Also the problems 10G and 11G are deal with fractions as well. Before we do this, one important skill that you're going to need to know, or some vocab. Ascending means rising. Descending means rising, falling. Right now you're probably in my classroom, and there is an ascending poster and a descending. The ascending poster has balloons that are rising, and then the descending has stairs going down, descending. So you can look for that as well. For the IA, these posters are up. I'm not covering them. So if you forget what ascending and descending means, then please use my walls, my posters, as a resource. Let's dive into this problem. The lanternfish is a fish that lives deep in the ocean and attracts prey with a bioluminescent appendage to attract prey. It has this like little flashlight bulb type of thing that sticks out from its forehead, and fish really deep in the ocean see it and they get attracted to it, so they swim to it. And then once the fish is right near, the fish eats the lanternfish eats the other fish. And there's several fish like this. One, they live deep in the ocean. One lanternfish began to chase another fish to eat. It started at 550 meters below sea level, and then ascended up 47 meters, and then descended down 100 meters where the lanternfish finally ate the prey. So, doing all these types of problems, I like to survey the whole problem and take your time, be patient with these problems. Let's see what the question's asking. First, it says write an equation that fits the problem above, and then it says at what depth did the lanternfish eat the prey. So we're going to write the equation, and then we're basically going to solve. I like to also draw. Let's draw those waves a little better. A little picture to help me orient myself. Okay, so here's sea level, and on your desks you'll see that sea level is 0 feet. So it's saying that at 550 meters below sea level, that's where we start. So this 550, is it in Denver or Death Valley? It is in Death Valley, and it's negative 550. So this is kind of the lanternfish is chasing the other fish, and that's going to be expressed by this equation here. So we are actually going to start here, negative 550. Now, so this is where the fish starts. Oh dear God. Okay, well, better than my cow. Okay, they have a little thing here, and it actually has big teeth. Should look more cross. Okay, something like that. And now, I'm just going to set up my cell phone. I'm sorry about that. Now it ascends, balloons going up. It ascends 47 feet. It goes up 47 feet, and now it's here. Yes, this is the same fish. So it ascends up 47 feet. So we're going to add 47 to where it was. And then finally it plunges down 100 feet where it finally eats the fish, and he's happy. Yay! Okay, so he ate the fish here, and this right here is going down 100 feet, so we could express this as adding a negative, or if this makes more sense, just subtracting 100. It goes down further. So this right here is our equation. It is equal to something. Now, this said expression. What is the difference between an expression and an equation? An expression is just this. There's no equal sign. An equal sign is where there's, an equation is where there's an equal sign. You have two sides to it. Okay, so equals something, and this is where we're just going to do this addition. And this gets a little tricky because you can't count negative 550 down. You'd be here till I leave the school. So we're going to have to just do our best, and I'll walk you through how I do it. So I know that we are at negative 550 down here. We're at negative 550. Maybe I should draw a number line. Here's a nice big number line. Because we are so deep, I'm going to put the 0 way up here because I know we're never going to be positive. There's 0. Here's sea level. Here's where we live. Negative 50, we'll have it right here. We go up first 47 spaces. We go up 47 spaces. Now the way I do this is, I know that this number has got to be greater, but this number here is going to be more negative. So if I did this, if I did 550 plus 47, which gives me 597, I know it can't be this. I know it can't be negative 597 because that is down here. So I know I'm going to go 47 in some direction. So we can try to add it, add more negative down, or go up. So what I do is I do 550 and I subtract 47, which gives me 503, and I attach the negative onto it. How can I explain that the best way? Well, I'm a little bit out of a loss for words here, but we're at negative 550, and we're going to go up 47 spaces. And that's going to leave me at negative 503 feet. We're adding 47, so it's going to be 47 greater than negative 550, which means that the negative has got to be, here has got to be smaller than this one. If I ended up with negative 597, I know that number is smaller, so I went in the wrong direction. Okay, so this part right here we solved was negative 503, and now we just need to subtract 100, and that's equal to, well, we're going to find that out right now. Another way to think about it, because I think I just did a poor job of explaining that, let's do something like this. Negative 10 plus 2. Let's do this. Hopefully you can see this. It's very similar to this, okay? We've got a negative, then we're adding a positive. On a number line, here's 0, and here's negative 10. I'm adding 2, I'm going to make it bigger, so I'm going to go up. And I come at negative 8. So we go up from negative 2, and it makes it less negative, and it makes it bigger. Hopefully that helps you a little bit. Okay, so we're at negative 503 minus 100. Now before I do this, maybe I should have started with the negative 10 plus 2 before, when doing this. But let me give you a similar problem. Let's do negative 4 minus 2. Here's 0. Here's negative 4. This is where we're starting. Maybe I was swimming in South Padre and I started at negative 4 below the sea level, and then I saw a pretty watch on the grounds, or on the sea floor. So I subtract 2, I go down 2, I descend 2, so I'm going to go this way here, and I'll end up at negative 6. So I know that this number has got to be greater, but it's going to be more negative. So it's going to be down further, we're descending. So that's just 100. So I know that negative 503 minus 100, I'm going to add these negatives together, just add a negative sign, is equal to negative 603 feet. Okay. Whew. 10 minutes for the first problem. Okay. Alright. Very similar type of problem. Another type of deep sea fish is called the anglerfish. One anglerfish began to chase a prey starting at 345 meters below sea level. So let's dive right in. You can draw the picture here. It starts here at -3. Oops. It starts at 350 below, so it's right here. -350. That's a fish, by the way. It starts at -345. It descends 67 meters from where it was and ascended 125 meters to catch the prey. So here's our expression, and now we just want to figure out what's on this other side and make this equation. So we're at -3.5, we go down 67, so we can add these numbers and then attach the subtraction sign at the end. 345. I'm going to attach this negative sign because I know it's going to be more negative. It's going to be down further. So that's going to be 2, 1, 1, and 4. So we're at -412. -412 plus 125. Well, I know we're at, so we go down further. We're at here. But then we go up plus 125. We're going to go up. So this has got to be less negative, so I can subtract the 125 from the 412 to make it less negative. Let's see, this becomes a 0. 12 minus 5 is 7. Can you see it? Yes, you can. 10 minus 2 is 8, and 3 minus 1 is 287. I know this is going to be less negative, so it's going to be -287. Now, if I had left it at 287 like this, well, that's all the way up here above the sea level, which is much greater distance. This is about 400, and this is about 200. So that would have to be about plus 600. So I know it's got to be -270 feet, or 287 feet. Meters or feet? Meters. -287 meters below sea level. Okay. I'm going to actually just write that a little bit neater. -287 meters. If I want you to write neat, I need to model it as well. Okay. Let's go to the next slide. Next two problems here. So, Mr. Corbett loves to ride his bicycle. He started at 10.5 feet above sea level. Over a mile, he descended 3.5 feet and then finished with a long ascent of 355 and 7/8 feet. So remember that descending is down. Descend goes down. Ascend, you go up. So Mr. Corbett, let's draw a slight picture here. So we know that here's sea level. Here's a number line. I start here. Oh God. Okay, well, there is some weird picture of me on a bicycle. I start at 10.5 feet. So let's start making this expression here and then creating into an equation. So I start at 10.5. And I descend 3 1/4 feet, so I'm going to subtract. And now, with a long ascent, so it's a steep up climb, plus 35 and 7/8 feet. And that's going to be equal, well, we'll try to figure out what my ending elevation is. At what elevation did Mr. Corbett end? So, one thing I notice here, let's look at all the fractions. It may be easier for me to convert all these fractions now to the same common denominator. I know that 4 goes into 8 twice. 8 goes into 8, obviously, 1 time, and 2 goes into 8 4 times. So let's all convert these to the same fractions. So we have 1, and if I want to turn the 1/2 into something over 8, well, 2 times 4 is equal to 8, so I need to multiply the 1 also by 4, which gives me 4/8. So it's going to be 1 and 4/8 minus 3. Let's see, so if I want to make 1/4 into something over 8, this is multiplied by 2, so I'll also multiply this by 2. 1 times 2 is 2/8. And now 7/8, that's already in 8s. Okay, so now we can do this problem. Let's do it from left to right, so we'll hold off on 35 and 7/8. We'll just do this right here. Oh, I missed a 10. I'll rewrite this, make it a little bit neater. Okay, now the way that you subtract fractions, let's do the, you can turn them into mixed numbers if you'd like. I like to do the whole numbers first. 10 minus 3 is going to be 7. And now we'll subtract these fractions. So I'll actually write this out. 7 and 4/8, we haven't subtracted the fractions yet, minus 2/8. And this turned 4 minus 2 is just 2, and we don't subtract the denominators. So my answer here for this first one is 7 and 2/8. I'm erasing it because I don't have any room, but if you'd like, you can continue working on this in your notes. So this part right here is 7 and 2/8. And now let's add the 35 and 7/8. So let's add the whole numbers first. 7 plus 35. That's going to give me 42. And then let's add the 2/8 plus, oh god, 7/8. Well, 2 plus 7 is 9. So I'm left with 42 and 9/8. I'm almost done. This 9/8 here, it's greater than 1 whole. So let's turn this part, let's take 1 whole out of it. 8 goes into 9 1 time. So I know we're going to add this 1 whole to the 42. And the remainder is 1. So 42 plus 1 and 1/8. Well, 42 plus 1 is just 43. And we'll just attach the fraction onto it at the end. So I ended up at 43 and 1/8 feet. Okay. Reviewing this process, I wrote out the expression. It was a path that I went on my bike. Remember, descending is down, ascending is up. And then I also converted all the fractions to a common denominator before I started doing all this stuff. So all of this was easier for me. Okay, I guess I can leave. Oh, I'll erase this. Okay, next problem. One of Mr. Corbett's friends is a world-renowned rock climber. His name is Daniel. Daniel was trying to climb the Pashastin Pinnacles in Washington State. He climbed at 507/8 meters above sea level. Okay, so let's start doing this. I know that he starts at 507/8 above sea level. He ascends, which means he goes up 105 5/16 meters, but then fell, ouch, and descended, that's subtracting, going down 30 1/2 meters. So if we look at all these fractions, they will all be able to go into 16. 16 goes into 16 1 time, and 8 goes into 16 twice, and 2 goes into 16 8 times. So let's convert all these fractions to a denominator of 16. So 7/8. If we want it over 16, I know that the 8 goes into 16 twice. It's multiplied by 2. So I need to multiply the 7 by 2 as well. Oops. And 7 times 2 is not 16, but it is 14. So we're going to have 514/16. and then we're going to add that to the 105 and 5/16. Now here we're going to subtract, let's see, the 1/2, if we wanted something over 16, it's 2 times 8 to get here, and so I'm going to multiply the 1 also by 8, which gives me 8/16. So this here, we can rewrite it as 30, well, I'll write it down here, minus 30 and 8/16. Okay, so let's add these first two here. Let's add the whole numbers first. 500 plus 105 is going to be 605. 600, if I had 14/16 and 5/16, that's going to be, well actually I'll write it out. 14/16 plus 5/16, 605 and 19/16. Now we're just going to subtract the 30 and 8/16. Now, why did I go straight to here? My question is, why did I not take this improper fraction and make it a mixed fraction and add that 1 back to the 605? The reason why is because it would have given me 606 and 3/16. Now, when I'm subtracting the 30 and 8/16, I just gave myself more work. Because now I have to borrow 1 whole to give it to this fraction and then subtract it from the 8. Why don't we just leave it like this? And now subtract the fractions. It's going to be much easier. The borrowing has already been done. So let's subtract 605 minus 30, which gives me 575. 19/16 minus 8/16, and this is equal to 575. 19 minus 8 is 11/16, and that is my final answer. So reviewing this here, we wrote out each number. I start here, I ascended 105 and 5/16, and then I descended 30 and 1/2 feet, which is the same thing as 30 and 8/16. And then I went and did the addition and subtraction with the fractions. Alright everyone, thank you so much, and continue working.